Shooter here. Wanted to show off another one of the weapons I picked up recently. This is a Tisa 1911. It's a model ZIG or ZIGM 1911. Comes in this blue case, and then obviously the manual and warning. Comes with a cloth, which I thought was kind of interesting. The test brass from the testing. The weapon with a chamber flag, so obviously this is not a loaded weapon. The magazine is not in it. I actually have pulled the magazine aside because it is full. It is a standard 1911 magazine. This will take standard 1911 magazines. I'm going to go ahead and take out the chamber flag now. Put that aside. Standard 1911 combat or military style handgun with a small dovetail to the back. Let's see. I'm going to put the weapon aside for a minute. The box does come with a regular manual, 1911 manual, if you look, and comes with an actual cleaning kit, which I thought was quite interesting, and I didn't know about when I purchased the weapon. So for a couple weeks after I purchased it, I did not know these were in here. So I was actually just looking around and I thought, oh, okay, the manual's kind of cheap, but they didn't pay that much for the weapon. So I wasn't that concerned. And then I decided to go looking because I thought it was a little unusual that this was the manual. So I actually looked through the box and found this after the fact. And it's actually a pretty good manual. So I'm going to put that up there now. Chamber flag and the other document. We'll go ahead and look at the gun itself. So let's move the box to the side. And actually that's a pretty good case. The weapon itself is a standard 1911 45 caliber weapon. Seems pretty well built. In fact, when I first got it, it was really, really tight. I thought, oh boy, this is going to be kind of a cheapie, and it's not going to be a good purchase. I did only pay like $350 for this. And I'm seeing it all over the web and all over gun shops for near that price. So I didn't get a extremely wonderful price on this particular weapon, but I did get a good price as far as a 1911. At first I didn't think I did because it was very, very tight. And this being my first 1911, I wasn't sure what to expect. The weapon, like I said, is tight, or was tight, is still pretty tight as far as functionality as well. The slide moves pretty well now. I did have to sit for about an hour racking the slide. I saw a method after realizing that it being tight was actually pretty common for a 1911. I looked online and found a method to loosening it up a little bit, and that entailed taking it apart, cleaning it really good, obviously, oiling it, and then putting it back together, racking the slide for a bit, then, and not wiping off excess oil, by the way, taking it down again, cleaning out all of that oil because it does have metal shavings in it, and it will have the wear in it. And then going ahead and re-oiling it, leaving the excess, putting it back together, racking the slide. This took several hours, and now it actually functions pretty smoothly and is actually quite smooth. The sights are non-adjustable sights. They are pretty much hard sights. They're not the best. It is a dovetail in the back, so it's actually, yeah, it's a dovetail in the back, I believe. So that could be replaced. The front sight, it looks like it's permanent, so it doesn't look like it could be replaced. However, I think a little white nail polish on that tip might actually help with the aim. The back guard does not go to beyond where the hammer is, so it does look like it would give you a little hammer bite. In fact, while I was racking, not realizing my hand was up, I was actually, well, the first couple times I fired it too, it actually did bite me a little. So it could do to have a little bit larger palm safety or grip safety. The grips themselves are not really grippy. They're actual wood, so that part kind of impressed me. They will take any standard 1911 grips. The screws themselves, though, have to be used because the screws that come with this are not standard size screws. However, if you replace the insert inside, you can replace the screw with whatever you want. As far as the trigger isn't as smooth as some. I have fired other 1911s, by the way. I haven't owned any. The 1911s I've fired have had trigger jobs done, so they were very smooth. This one has a bit of creep, a little more than I would like on a 1911, and the trigger is a little stiffer than I would like on a 1911. However, it's really serviceable. I haven't taken it down that far to make an attempt on adjusting it. Once again, this being my first 1911, I don't know it that well. It doesn't look to be that difficult, but I don't want to screw it up before I become much more accustomed to it. What I may do is use this as my experiment gun and then eventually get a newer one. One thing I've noticed though is the magazine release is actually extremely stiff. I need to find a way to adjust that, and if anybody out there has any suggestions on that, I've seen a few online, but if you have any suggestions, let me know. Besides, grow stronger muscles in my thumbs. I have taken this out and fired it. It's pretty accurate. It's very enjoyable to shoot. Once again, it's a 1911. They're always quite nice. The sights do find a pretty good picture. But it fires like a typical 1911. The only complaint I have is the trigger is not as smooth as I would like. However, it being a 1911, very much so adjustable. But seems to be a pretty decent weapon. You get a pretty good package of items for what you're paying for. And it being the type of gun it is, you can buy aftermarket parts and build it up, much like a Taurus PT 1911. So I think this wasn't such a bad deal. $350, not bad. Does come with a full-length guide rod, or I mean a half-length guide rod, half-length guide rod, and does break down just like a typical 1911, just push in and turn. I'm not going to do it right now because I am still not 100% accustomed to getting it back together, and I don't want to fumble around on the screen. I could probably do it, but it would make this video much longer, and it would probably be much more difficult with the way the screen is back. 1911 from Tisas. Do yourself a favor, check one out.